counter-attacking punch of the Netherlands. And the Netherlands, they've got a fantastic, when you talk about a shaky defense for Argentina, look at the defense for the Netherlands. You've got pretty solid defense there with Ake, Timber, and of course Virgil van Dijk.
Jay Dredd says, does Croatia have any chance tomorrow?
Not if Brazil play at their potential, because there's so much firepower. I mean, this is how good Brazil are as a squad. There was no room for Roberto Firmino. That's how good Brazil are. Roberto Firmino, one of my favorite players, plays for Liverpool, and there's no room on the squad for him. So that's how good this team is. That's how good Brazil are. The question is Brazil going to implode? Are they going to get sloppy? Are they going to be more worried about their dance choreography than getting the job done, right? Because Croatia does have experience, and you can't underestimate. Croatia is a good team. I don't think man for man they're as good as Brazil, but they're good enough that if Brazil gets sloppy, they can take advantage.
Interesting. Now, I'm just gonna I'm gonna look back on. I just want to talk about one of the groups. It was. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go back here. I want to talk about Spain, and your opinion of what has happened with Spain in their group. You had Germany in there. What is your take on what happened there? I was thinking Spain may have taken that group, but it didn't happen. What is your opinion of what has happened?
Well, Spain made it out of the group along with Japan. Germany, I think, is a big surprise going home early. But I think Japan deserved to win the group. I don't think, they beat Germany coming back from a 1-0 deficit. They beat Spain coming back from a 1-0 deficit. I think Spain really had a brilliant match against Costa Rica, and that was it as far as their World Cup is concerned. They were mediocre against Germany, and they lost to Japan, and then they lost to Morocco, and Morocco deserved the victory. They had a game plan, which was to sit deep and defend and strike on the counter, and if that didn't work, they were willing to go into extra time, and they were willing to go to a penalty shootout, and the penalty shootout for Spain was horrible. Not a single penalty. I mean, when you're taking a penalty shot, you have the advantage. When it's you against a goalkeeper and you're 12 yards away, you have the supreme advantage. So for Spain not to put one single shot in the net is, they deserve to go out. If you're a supporter of Spain, I think you have to take consolation in the fact that they've got a lot of incredibly young, talented players like Pedri, Gavi, Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres. They've got a lot of talented young players who, over the next 4 years, they're going to be entering their prime. So I think Spain, it's bad to see them leave, but I think in 4 years' time, they're going to have a pretty decent squad.
Now Jay Dredd has just weighed in. He says Spanish players were asked to practice penalties, and they ignored Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique is officially stepping down. This is what Jay Dredd has said. What says you?
Well, this is news to me. If they were asked to practice penalties and they ignored their coach, then they deserve to lose. Luis Enrique, he's a very talented coach. It's sad to see that he's officially stepping down. But I'm sure he'll find another job if he wants it. I mean, he's one of those guys, he doesn't have to coach, right? He coaches because he wants to, so he can pick whatever club he wants to coach for. He did a great job when he was coach for Barcelona. I think he did a great job with Spain. And, whoever takes over, I hope, what would be really interesting, who I would like to take over as head coach for Spain, Pep Guardiola. I would love to see him take over as head coach for Spain because he's very good at organizing and developing young players.
Well, that's one of the interesting. He says some of the content we show on this channel is on a YouTube channel called the Guardiola Way. just in case you guys start to see some of that content here. Jay Dredd has weighed in again. He says he may be going to Atletico Madrid. Pep would be a great and good at firing up players. That's what Jay Dredd has said.
Well, if you're talking about Luis Enrique going to Atletico de Madrid, he's a big step up from the guy they currently have, which is Diego Simeone, who is, I don't think he's getting the best out of his attacking players. He's good at organizing a defense, but the guy he plays thug football.
Jay Dredd says Barca's best years were under Pep.
I agree. I think, the 2010-2011 year for Barcelona was the best team I've ever seen. And I think it's really kind of sad how Barcelona have fallen from grace. They're no longer even in the Champions League. They're now competing in the Europa League after their president, Joan Laporta, pulled all those financial levers to bring in Robert Lewandowski and a bunch of other superstar players. But yet, I agree with Jay Dredd. The best years were under Pep Guardiola. And you look at that 2010-2011 team, the Champions League final, 7 of the starting 11 were graduates of La Masia. And this is what I liked about Pep Guardiola. He promoted a lot of these young players like Sergio Busquets, Pedro Rodriguez. He brought back Gerard Piqué from Manchester United. He decided he was going to play 2 10s, actually 3 10s, because Lionel Messi, Andres Iniesta, and Xavi Hernandez are all players who could play the number 10 role. And he had them playing in the midfield, and they played beautiful football.
Jay Dredd says Simeone did take at Madrid to a few Champions League finals. It's unfortunate, but it's unfortunately like the seal the deal. But sorry, I butchered that comment there. I apologize for that one. But you know what? I just got to move on here. I want to move on to kind of your take now, where we're at tomorrow, 10 a.m. I will be watching. I know I'll be watching this one, Morocco versus Portugal. What is your take on what's going to happen tomorrow? What, do you have any predictions, things you're expecting? What's your take on what's going to happen with that game tomorrow?
Well, at this point, I can't even predict if Cristiano is going to be in the starting 11. You know, they played so well without him that they might start again without Cristiano. But I think Portugal is the heavy favorite here. Morocco have been valiant. Morocco have been very impressive in the way they've been just taking on these giants like Spain. And, it's sad. It's sad that you see these. Maybe I shouldn't be presumptuous, but I honestly think that it's going to be very sad to see Morocco's run come to an end, because I think Portugal just has far too much firepower from front to back. I think they're one of the strongest 11s. They might be not the strongest squad, because Brazil's got, I think Jay Dredd mentioned that Brazil has an all-star team sitting on the bench. And France, you could say the same thing about France. But Portugal has a very impressive starting 11, with or without Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, based on what I saw last game, I mean, you don't have to put him in for Portugal to dominate. Regardless whether he's in or not, I think they'll probably play him a little bit. But yeah, he may not be starting tomorrow. That's an interesting point. Griezmann has come alive, Jay Dredd says. I very much agree with that. What is your take on Griezmann?
It's good that France has so many options to attack, because, Griezmann, if he's in form, he can be very effective, he can be very influential. But then you've also got Mbappe. You've also got Giroud. You also have potentially Tchouaméni or Camavinga. There's just so many options for France. with regards to their attack, and from front to back, they're a very solid team. The one thing that can work against France is that it is a team full of superstars, a team full of egos, and if that dressing room implodes because of the egos, maybe they don't have great teamwork.
Now let's go to the next game. Sorry, going to go to the next game. Sorry, tomorrow. I said Saturday. Sorry. Let's go to tomorrow. Brazil versus Croatia, 10 a.m. That's the game I'll be watching tomorrow. Sorry, folks. I just had some information backwards there. Croatia versus Brazil. What are you seeing on Croatia's end? Is there anybody that may be able to neutralize any Brazilian defense? What is your take on tomorrow's game? Croatia versus Brazil.
Like I said before, Brazil overwhelming favorites. This is a superstar team. This is a team that has so many players that can hurt you. But Croatia has experience on their side. They've got Luka Modric, and he is someone that you should not underestimate. And this is the question: is Brazil going to be professional about the performance tomorrow, or are they going to be a bunch of superstars? You saw Richarlison showing off with bouncing the ball on the top of his head. Yeah, I agree. I just saw Jay Dredd's comment too bad Rakitic isn't part of the team. I agree. He's one of my favorite players. I thought he was brilliant playing for Barcelona as well as Sevilla. And yeah, it is an aging squad as far as their best players go. So I think it's Brazil's for the taking. However, Brazil I think maybe they get a little bit too ahead of themselves, especially if they get off to a good start. And Croatia, maybe they get back into it. So for Brazil, I think my sympathies go to Croatia because I don't think they have a chance. But Brazil is one of those teams that they can totally implode, similar to France.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, like based on what I've seen, Brazil really hasn't, in my opinion, been challenged this World Cup yet. They've been playing phenomenally. They look great. But, they haven't been challenged. Do you think that might be, evident tomorrow?
I think they have to take Croatia serious. But I don't see Croatia matching them if Brazil start playing man for man against Croatia. If they, odds are I don't know if they're going to go with a 4-2-4 or if they're going to go with a 4-3-3. I suspect they're going to go with a 4-2-4 because the one big weakness of Brazil, aside from all the egos in that dressing room, the biggest weakness for me is Tite, I should say, their coach, because I don't think their coach. I think he's basically, there to keep the players happy more so than being a tactician, because he's playing the same formation that was being played around the turn of the millennium, the 4-2-3-1,